Oh, Emma.
Please welcome back Emma Willmann.
Oh, Emma.
You're Emma.
Oh, okay, Emma.
Here we go. Let's get crazy.
Oh, Emma.
All right, today I'm talking to my buddy, comedian, actress, dancer, podcaster, and I'm going to say another one. Entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, there's no way. And I'm not going to include the fashion, because when you start listening to many things, then it sounds like maybe the person doesn't do, but these are all actual things that Kerry has done. So that's what I'm going with. You killed it on the dance show.
Thank you.
Kerry was just on, what is the show called again?
The Funny Dance Show on E!
So what was the idea of that? Is the idea that comedians can't dance?
No, because some people, like the team that we competed against, they had like dance training before in their lives. So it's a mixed bag. It's some comedians can dance, some can't, some can perform really well. So we know how to commit. And they kind of make you do come up with like the concept, and you work with the choreographer so that it's funny, and there's like a lot of props and stuff. So even if you can't dance, they work with you. And so they meet you where you're at.
Who beat you?
They give you partners. And so my partner was Guy Branum. And
interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a visual.
We were just, he was like, you couldn't pair me with anyone more opposite.
Wait, I didn't even see him in your clip though. Was he in your clip?
Well, there were 3 rounds. So everyone gets to do a song, and then there's a duet. So I'll probably post my duet later on today, and then you'll see me and Guy.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like he was in the clip, but you guys just agreed to put him like so far in the back. Like, no, he was there. He was the prop. He's in the back, way in the back.
No, he was. I won't give it away, the duet that we did, but it was so much fun, and it was like really theatrical. So they put us against some guy, Tony Cavallero, and Esther Pravitsky.
Oh, I know Esther. Yeah, Esther's
so
great.
Yeah, they did really well though, so I'm not mad.
Well, actually, okay, that makes a little bit of sense then, because Esther does dancing because she was on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and she like danced on the show.
Exactly, she was doing like pirouettes and shit. It was like a whole thing.
Okay, this makes a little more sense, because I was like, when I saw you doing it, I was like, wait a minute. This isn't like this is. And then there was some article that was like, I forget what it was on, but it said that Kerry reveals that she's a dancer and choreographer. I don't know if they were trying to like set comedians up where they're like, oh, this is gonna be funny watching them suck at dancing.
Oh, I think so. Even if you suck, they try to make it funny. So they try to make it funny enough where even if you're good or bad, it doesn't matter.
What do you win if you win?
It's for charity.
Oh, that's good.
So they give away $10,000 to the charity of our choice. So we lost, so our money did not go, but
I want to ask you, because I was trying to like, if I'm going to paint like a full picture of you, what were you like as like a little kid?
The same.
Really? You never went through like a shy phase?
No, I was never shy. I always wanted to be an actress and a performer. I was always dancing around the house. I was always writing. I was always imitating people. And
would you get in trouble for school? Were you loud at school?
No, at school I was always really good. Like I was great at school. Yeah, I skipped like 2 grades, so I was always the youngest in my class.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, I crushed school.
Oh, I was on the opposite end of the spectrum on that one. You skipped 2 grades?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get made fun of for that?
In freshman year of high school, so I went to like it's a huge school. So in 8th grade, I went to like a private school for elementary my whole life. So I was like valedictorian of a class of 9. So it was just 9 of us. It wasn't that like, it's not like I had a whole bunch of competition.
There was only 9 kids?
It was a very small school.
That's because I went to a small school and it was like 15 kids.
In your senior class?
In senior class in elementary school. But this was like, what's it called? A Waldorf school? Have you ever heard of one of those? It's like there's not very many of them. It's like kind of like a hippie. It's a private school, but it's like hippie. Like it's an alternative school, and it's in rural Maine. So it makes more sense that 9 kids is like why was it so small?
Maybe it sounds like I went to like the Brooklyn Christian Caribbean version of whatever you went to. Like it's a small school. It was very tight knit. I went there from pre-K straight through 8th grade. My sister did the same exact thing.
But
And
9 kids is fucking small.
you know what it is? My 8th grade teacher was really intense. So people would pull their kids out right before they got to 8th grade because he was no fucking joke.
Damn.
8th grade was one of the hardest grades, like workload and like the things we were asked to do in 8th grade. It was like insane.
So then you got to high school early. Were people like, were they mean because you were so much younger?
It was weird because I went to, there's like specialized high schools in New York City where you have to test in. So I got into the one in Brooklyn. So it's like the gifted school of nerds, but I was the youngest of all of them. So they were kind of like, finally someone we could shit on. And I was like, no, you can't.
Yeah, nice.
And then I started beating people up and I got kicked out of that school. And
are you serious?
I went to 4 different high schools.
You beat somebody up? You beat somebody up?
I was fighting almost, I felt like every day in high school.
Like physically? Physically. You beat
like
somebody
2.5 years. Yeah.
Why do you think?
I think in the time I couldn't tell you this, but now in hindsight, I think because coming from the 8th grade that I had, it was very small, and my teacher was like very verbally abusive. Also, why parents pulled their kids out. So he was like, "If you get to high school, somebody's gonna stomp a mud hole in your chest," which you probably can't say. Like if someone recorded, if we had cell phones back then, he would be that viral teacher that
where everyone's like, oh, and
but
then
he
the kid
also owned the
snaps.
school, so that's also a thing. Like he's untouchable.
Is that school still around?
It really is. It's still standing.
So were you taking like his talking to other kids the way he was talking to you? Like when you got in your fights?
Did I do what?
Were you talking to the kids in the high school the way that he was talking to the kids in the 8th grade when you got in your fights?
No, not necessarily. I think I remember hearing somebody like talk about that 12-year-old freshman. Like, did you hear that 12-year-old freshman? And I sat there and I didn't say anything. And it just bothered me so much. I was like, why didn't you speak up for yourself? Like, how could you let the, and so I was like, the next time someone says anything, I'm going to be like, I'm the 12-year-old freshman, what's up? And then it just kind of became that, like fighting for my respect.
Like,
that wasn't the very first fight. It wasn't because of that, but it was things like that. Like people feeling like they could get away with disrespecting me or saying things. And I felt personally tested. And I felt like if you let one person get away with it, then everybody else is going to think. So you have to be like, no, I'm not the one that you can try this with. Why
would someone try to fight you again after you fought the first person? Wouldn't they be like, I'm gonna pick on someone else? Because if I was like, oh, that 12-year-old's like beating people up or hitting people, I would think other people would like back off.
That's how they say it on TV, but that's not real life. So to a certain extent, there is that girl that nobody wants to fight, but even she still gets into fight.
Who was it, guys or was it girls? That
I would fight?
Yeah.
Girls.
Oh, I don't know. But I can't picture fighting anyway, because I never hit some. I mean, I've shoved 2 motherfuckers. Better believe it. And I shoved this kid, Tom, but it was like a little accidental. He was like, I was just back for the summer in college, and I just come out of the closet, and he kept asking me if I thought girls were hot. He'd be like, what about her? What about her? And I was like, no. I was like, no, that's my friend, or they're straight. Like, I don't like straight people. And he kept asking, and then we were about to go into this party, and we were standing on a hill, and I didn't know he had taken pain pills. So he was like, which thank God, because so he kept asking, and I said, you need to back off. You have to stop. And I kind of went like this, and I shoved him, and he fell down what turned out to be a steep incline. So he just goes,
Emma, you killed him.
Yeah.
Do you watch Big Little Lies?
Yes, it wasn't quite like that. It wasn't quite like, boom, but kinda. And then I was like, fuck. And then I went to this party, and they were like, where's Tom? And I was like, I just didn't know what to do. And then but I hadn't shoved him that hard. But because he was on the pain pills, he was okay.
Oh, okay.
Because his body like fell into the, but because of the incline, it could have been like really bad. But I've only done a shove. I've never punched. I would like to, I have craved hitting someone before. I'm curious what that power feels like.
When you get older, there's less reasons to. Or, no, I don't think so. I think you walk away more. I just think adults handle shit differently.
There's more to lose.
Or at least you hope. There's more to lose. People call the cops now. That's a big thing. When you're in high school, no one's like, I'm going to call the cops. You fucking go ice your lip and you go home and you try again another day. You know, but like there's consequences. I have a job. I don't have time for that. You're old. It physically feels like your body is so sore after. You're like, what happened?
Could you imagine if you hit somebody now? That would just be so fucking like sad. Actually, did you get in trouble when you were hitting these people?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then your mom would be like, "You're grounded."
I don't even know, because I don't even know what grounded would look like. Like, I didn't do anything. I went to school. I came home.
But you
for the most part.
Got in the fights.
I got into fights. I don't know.
Did your sister get into fights?
No, she's never. No.
Yeah, because things have to like escalate. I mean, for it to be like boom, boom, and then to go for like a punch. Or was it punching, slapping, or more like hair?
No, I would punch you. The thing was, because I learned, I didn't like the arguing. And so what I realized is that girls would argue when they would go back and forth, and people would say nasty things, and it'd be this whole thing. And I was just like, are we fighting or what? Like, what are we doing? Because if not, I have other things to do. And then it'd be like that, like, shut the fuck up. I just couldn't. That's why I don't argue in the like comment threads. Like, I do not engage.
So like if someone writes like a negative YouTube thing?
Yeah. Or like comments or threads, just whatever the online shit is, I do not engage. I go, that's your opinion, cool. I'm not even doing it.
Yeah, and it's like, and trust me, you don't want to fight with me about it. Like,
no, it's just, what am I going to do? Am I going to find you? That's why I just like, this is useless. You're not going to fight me. I'm not going to fight you. I don't give a shit what you say. You don't like what I said. We can just agree to disagree. It doesn't need to be this whole thing.
Did you ever lose a fight?
Yeah. Not many.
Right.
I lost my first fight.
Was she just bigger than you?
She was. She was huge.
Actually, I had a big girl push me one time, kind of, but we weren't fighting. We were like wrestling and like mud wrestling. I remember she won that.
Was there mud?
Yeah. Yeah, there was. It was at like a summer school thing, and I remember she just kind of sat on me, but she was like big. She was like big, 200, 300 pounds. She's a big girl. Big. Yeah, and I was like, this isn't fun. Like, I don't want to play this game. So your first fight, she beat you?
She didn't beat me. It was a draw. And so I took that as a loss.
I get that. So you were at like a gifted school, and then did you do well academically in school? Or no, you got kicked out.
I started cutting school. I started cutting class. I think coming from such a small environment in like elementary school where you were in the same class for the entire day, except for like maybe lunch and computer class.
Right.
And when I learned that I had the option to move myself from first period to second period to third period, and that school had 5,000 people. It's like one of the largest gifted schools in the country. It's enormous. So I was just like, I'd rather do other things. So I think that contributed to it too. When you're cutting class, you're not where you're supposed to be.
Right.
It's just more opportunities for you to get into conflict with someone. And who else is cutting class? Other people that's not doing what they're supposed to be. Everybody's looking for trouble.
True. Absolutely. And people aren't coming from a small setting like that. You can fall between the cracks, and it's not, you're like, wow, no one's watching me at all compared to how it was. Mm-hmm. What school did you end up at that like you sticked with that was the fourth one?
It was so interesting because I really feel like I went to every different high school in New York City. And so I feel like I can tell exactly how they treat kids that they think are gifted versus kids that they weren't. So like in that gifted high school that I went to, it was crazy. Like I got sliced by blood when I was 14.
At the gifted school?
At the gifted school.
Really?
He didn't attend the school. It was this whole thing because you're in New York City, other kids from other schools came up. They would try to like rob you. So then the tough kids from that school, we felt like we had to defend our turf. It was just crazy stuff. We felt like we had to prove ourselves because we were smart.
Absolutely, that makes sense. Because they might think you're smart. Oh, you're weak in other areas, or you're smart. I'm jealous and I'm not identifying it. I'm going to tear you down.
Yeah. So it was a lot of that. And
how'd you know she was a blood? Was she wearing
she was friends. It's a thing where I was friends with a group of girls, and you know, it's like the wrong crowd.
Wait a minute. Didn't you say you were in a gang one time?
I was. I turned Crip after. So everyone was like, oh, Kerry's gonna learn her lesson. She's gonna calm down. Everyone's like, yeah, she got sliced. She's gonna cool off. And I was like, oh, I'm about to be Crip now. Let's do it. It was like fucking crazy. It was a crazy time. But it's a happy ending to the story.
Where'd she slice you?
I'm
like
so on
sorry.
my body? No,
I'm so
it's
sorry
fine.
you got sliced.
I'm such a crazy person when it happened, because I've always wanted to be an actor. I always wanted to be on TV. So for a minute, I thought it would derail me, but it happens to be right at the side of my face where you can't really see it. And I remember being like, you just gave me another layer to my story for Oprah.
Absolutely. Oh man, I think about that. I think about that all the time. Not necessarily for Oprah, but for The Thing, where it's like, oh, I used to think about that more, but like, this is a chapter.
Mm-hmm. This is the chapter.
This is a thing to draw on to, because I like whatever makes things hard or something that's hard gives you more to work, more of a reservoir to work with when you're pushing through something else.
Yep, for sure.
So you got into the final school. Did you graduate? You graduated from the final school?
I graduated from the final school, and by the time I got there, like I went to 3 schools literally in 1 year. Like I was like, this is not it.
And they kept accepting you even though you would get kicked out?
Well, right afterwards, I went to a private school, and private schools accept anyone, and it was Catholic. And they literally were like, you don't have enough credits to be a junior here, which is another scam. They could just test you in, right? But they were like, let her be a freshman. So it was this whole thing where my family was like, maybe this will be great for you, fresh start, because you ruined your last 2 years. So I was like, I did not get skipped twice to get left back twice. This is not my legacy.
Right.
So I ended up not being in the Catholic school for long at all. Like I got kicked out in like 2 months, and then I went to my zone school. So in New York City, your zone school has to accept you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How'd you get kicked out of the Catholic one?
I allegedly threatened the nun, but that's not the full story. That school was racist as fuck in hindsight. Like, and then remember, I told you that coming from the gifted school and coming to this school, the way that they treat you. And now I have a fresh scar on my face. I had the teachers in that school literally be like, you're nothing, you're a thug. And I'm like, bitch, you don't even know me. And also like, so it was a lot of those things that would happen. And I was just like, this is not. And when you've been other places and you've been to other schools, like the things that they tell you in private school, it can't, you can't break me. Like I know how it really works. And so I'm going to challenge this authority every time.
Thank God you went to the other school first before the school where they said they were going to break you, because that's the fucking fuck of it. Cause you're like, thank God I had a positive or something else get in my head about how I identify before this person comes in. Cause if someone else that's bad gets to you first, then that could be the self-talk you have.
Right. And that exactly was my experience going from that school to my zone school, which I was there for the least amount of time. And then I went to another school. Yes. Which was crazy.
Didn't like it.
It was overcrowded. It was overpopulated. My first day, some kid threw a chair at the teacher. And I was like, oh, this is a different level of wild that I'm not used to. I'm not cut out for this. And somehow I was able to go to the other zone school. And they were like, this is your last option. My mom was trying to send me to boarding school. I was like, I'm going to sell drugs to the kids in boarding school. Like, please don't send me away. Just let me do what I'm doing. And ultimately, I ended up in another school that's not a great school, but my high school story is like such a big part of who I am, because I should have been left back twice. So by the time I got to my last school, I had sophomore credits. And in New York City, they let you do like night school and all of this other stuff. And I was like, listen, let me get all the night school. Let me get every school that I need to be out of here on time. And the guidance counselor was literally like, no, you're not. She laughed in my face. She was like, you're going to be in here for another 2.5 years tops. I'm looking at your transcript. It's no way. And another thing, you have to have a support system. I told my sister was away at UVA because she's older than me. And she called my mom and was like, you need to go up to the school. And so my mom came. So you have to have like a parent you can go to. You have to have someone that knows how to advocate on your behalf.
Yeah, but how dare a teacher tell a kid not to try? I hate that more than anything. It's like, you're not even gonna let me try. I'm saying I want to try. Let me try and fail.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let me not try.
And that's not your job. Like, you're a guidance counselor. That's what you're there for. And then so it's also like it's all of these white teachers in all of these Black schools telling them you can't do anything. You're not going to do this. You might as well drop out and get your GED. When after my mom came out, Emma, I added a 0 period. I took away my lunch period. I went to night school, three extra classes after school. I was there till 10 p.m. I went to Saturday school over Christmas break. I came in. I graduated on time. I did 2.5 years in 2 semesters with no summer school. That's when I took to the guidance counselor. I was like, bitch, who wasn't going to graduate?
Yeah, fucking. And now you're stuck here. I had this teacher, I remember because I went away to like a special ed school and I got myself kicked out of that.
From what?
I didn't want to be there. And so I was like, I want to be with my friends in Maine. And I went because I had this like stepmom that had me get sent away to it. So I didn't want to go for that reason. So I kept trying to get kicked out and they wouldn't kick me out because they knew I was trying to get kicked out. So I tried to throw myself down the stairs. Mm-hmm. I didn't really, like, I just kind of like plopped. And then they said I was there. They're like, I was like, I'm trying to kill myself. So they had to kick me out.
Oh, wow.
Trying to get back in and get credits. I relate to that because I remember I was put in special ed classes and I was like, I shouldn't be in special ed classes. Just let me audit the AP classes or the other classes. I'll do the work. And if the work isn't up to par, I don't have to get in. I'll do that simultaneously while I'm taking my other classes.
Right.
And they said they didn't let me try.
It's so infuriating.
And I'll never forget it. I was like, I remember just being like, you don't want to grade the one extra paper that has to be what it is. You don't want to grade that one extra paper. And he was like, kids from special ed don't usually transfer into AP. I was like, I know, but just give me the opportunity. I'll sit in the back. I'll audit it on a lunch break, my study hall, and I'll do the work and I'll pass it in. If it's not up to snuff, then don't accept me. But if it is, then let's try it. No.
Yeah, like I don't understand why wouldn't they just let you try, and if you fail,
let me try.
Fail, because fail is a part of life. But you can't decide to get in my way because you think I can't. Right. But I think we're better for it. It makes us better stand-ups. It makes us better at everything. Just because we're used to doing. People aren't usually successful at comedy. Right. People can't usually pay their bills. So don't tell me. You know?
Yep. Yeah. And there's so many things I think back about that. And then I get angry and I get motivated through anger too. Like when I get angry, I get fucking cooking. And then I thrive in that almost.
Like Michael Jordan. Do you know?
Does he get mad in anger?
He has this famous look it up. It's like his Hall of Fame speech. And so it's at the end of his career and he's on the podium and he is like, you know, from my 2nd grade coach who told me I wouldn't do this, Mr. Whatever. My 3rd grade, he literally I just started watching Game of Thrones, so I'm late with my references. But he had like an Arya Stark list of people who had told him he wasn't going to do something. And 40 years later, he was like...
So he's also not, the other thing with that is it means you're not over it. Like
you're not over
hanging out under it. You're like, okay, you've achieved the greatest level of greatness. And then he's up there like, thank you so much for the award. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
That was the whole thing. 45 minutes of fucking fuck you. Hilarious.
People are in the audience like, is he all right? And he's like, and fuck you, and fuck you. Were you a Crip the entire time too?
No.
How'd you get out of being one of those?
That's so funny. I do a bit about it where I just say I joined, like I wasn't in super deep, and I joined a set that was not in my neighborhood. So I just stopped getting off the 4 train at Franklin. I just took my ass home. It was very easy. I went to class. I choreographed in the dance. I got extracurricular activities.
Wow. I didn't know they just let you not be in the gang like that. I thought that once you were in, like they like kind of like made you stay in because you knew how they do the business.
I mean, I think it depends on. That's probably how it should go, and I'm sure whoever I was reporting to is probably an embarrassment to the organization. But it just that wasn't my personal experience. Right. Those are some people's experiences, I'm sure. But, you know, there's levels to everything. So
Did you stay in touch with any of those people?
No, I didn't bang super hard. I was like,
You dabbled.
I dabbled. I you know, it's and when you're in high school too, it's different because I think when you get deeper in gang activity, it's because of your neighborhood and your friends, and it's
totally.
like, and it wasn't the case for me. Like it
Right.
wasn't. Those weren't my friends in my neighborhood, and they weren't my friends in school. It was just like if I hung out a place one summer, and that's where I ended up. And then after school started, and so I still repped, and I still got into like my own initial beef, but it had nothing to do with like being associated with other people and having to fight other people's battles.
I think it has to do with protection too. If you're like, I don't think anyone around me that's supposed to protect me is going to protect me, so I'm going to go with these people that are supposedly going to protect me, and that's like a security thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think it depends on what motivates you. Like at the time, I couldn't even tell you why I did it. I don't know that I was seeking out. I mean, I'm about to start therapy soon, so maybe she can unpack it for me. But like my boyfriend joined at the time, and so it's very likely he did it. I was in his neighborhood hanging out with him. I joined it too. He was like,
right.
And it was low stakes. Usually you have to fight somebody. The girl they wanted me to fight, I had already knew her from before, and she was like, oh, this is my homegirl. So it didn't feel, I was like, oh, cool.
Did you have to fight?
I didn't have to fight her because
thank God.
she already knew me. And so
Wait, they make you fight someone, or in this case, you're supposed to fight someone that's already in the group. They don't make you fight someone they don't like?
I think people have different initiation processes.
Because that would fucking suck to be in the group, and then every now and then someone has to fight you to get in the group themselves.
You do. But that's how it is in fraternities and sororities.
True.
Police departments. It's all hazing.
True. And it does, I guess it is. It's like you gotta fucking.
We all went through it. Everyone that did it went through it. And so it's part of the ritual.
So you graduate high school. Then what'd you do? When did you start doing fashion stuff?
When I was in college. I went to college, and it was the same thing happens in college. I went to my guidance counselor like sophomore year, and I was like, how many classes do I need to get out of here? And I looked, I did not like it. I was just like, I want to be an actor. I want to perform. Whatever I want to do, it doesn't involve me using this degree or ever printing a fucking resume.
Right.
But I had done such a piss poor job of showing my mom that I was responsible. And because literally, I thought I was going to graduate high school. I thought I was going to move to Hollywood, like whatever. And she was like, you're 16. You're not going anywhere. You're going to get on the train. You're going to go to college, or you're going to come back home. That is how.
And you're not going to get off at the stop where your little friend's Crips were at. You're going to come straight home.
You're going to come straight home. By senior year in high school, I completely turned it around anyway. And so I was just like focused. So college was the same thing. I was like, how long do I have to be in here? And then I looked at the sheet and I was like, oh, I can do what I did to get out of high school early for college. And so I did that. And there
wouldn't you get tired out? Yeah, wouldn't you get tired out taking all those classes?
No.
You wouldn't get burnt out?
Mm-mm.
Good for you.
I don't think I didn't feel, I don't know.
You just get the blinders on sometimes.
Yeah.
Were you drinking and partying? Because when I was there was times when I would be like, I would sign up for a bunch of stuff, but then I think the reason I would get burnt out is because I was also drinking a lot. Did
you live on like campus, or what was your college?
College was like the best time of my life. I peaked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I peaked because I never had done well in school, in high school, and then I got into college, and it was the first time I ever had like a stable living environment. Because in high school, I was always going between my parents' houses, and there was like a lot of chaos. And so then when I was in college, it was the first time I had like stable living situation, and I started like doing well in school, and then I like liked my friends. I came out of the closet. Like in college, I was like killing it, and then after college, I had trouble again. Because it was like all of a sudden that foundation was taken away, and I didn't know how to structure my life in a way with structure, because that only time I ever had structure that worked was in that particular environment. But college was, oh man, I was great. Actually, you know what? I was in the Caribbean Culture Association. Did I ever tell you that?
Really? That's hilarious. Why did they let you in?
Well,
this is the problem.
Well, there was this very specific reason. It was because I kind of had forgotten about it, and then like this photo on Facebook popped up, and it was like this like old photo of the Caribbean Culture Association. We had like a party, And I remembered that party because there was this other girl, Irene, who wasn't from the islands. She was from Kenya, and the president of the association was like, "Well, Irene's not from the islands, and we're still gonna have a flag from Kenya on the cake that had like flags of the islands of the other people in the group." So she's like, "But she's not from the islands, so Emma, since you're not from the islands, we'll have a flag from you. Like, what are you?" And I was like, "German," and she was like, and I was like, so we didn't. Maybe we did have a German. I don't remember, but I don't know. But the reason I was in it was because I was in the public relations student society, and that had like a lot of people in it. And then my friend, so I wasn't really getting to build a like portfolio. So then my friend was like, "I'm starting this Caribbean Culture Association as a break off from the Black Student Association," which was huge at our school, like huge. They had like the biggest events. They had the most funding of anything. Like it was like, that was like the biggest thing. So their ad budget was huge. She's like, "I'm starting the Caribbean Culture Association. Can you ask someone PR if there's any girls from the islands in there, come try out PR in Caribbean culture?" And then I don't think there was someone. And then I was like, "Well, I'll fill in till you find somebody." And I was like, "That'll be good for me too, because then I can get my, portfolio of stuff, because I'll be the only one. And then when you find someone from the islands, then we'll swap out." But then they never found someone from the islands. So it's like, they were kind of like, we were all like, all right. So I would go to the meetings, and I remember a couple times saying, I was like, "I can leave if like you guys want like a different space." And they're like, "No, it's fine." And then, so I was in it, and it was never really, it was a pretty small group. It was never really discussed or brought up, or never seemed weird until we had like an event with another school. Who the fuck is that? And they're like, "Oh, they're like, it's Emma, don't worry about it." Like, and then I left the fucking PR student group because I was like, the Caribbean Culture Association was much more involved because I was only PR.
They had you busy, and you were like, "You know what?"
He did. Really, yeah. We didn't really. Her and I didn't stay in touch with the president of that, but they did have me busy. The other school, it was Northeastern. They were like, "Okay, like who the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Excuse me, you gonna sign up for our newsletter or not?" Just trying.
Yeah, but that's so fun. Just like,
It was fun.
Yeah,
I
and
loved
feel like
college.
College, I don't believe in regrets. Like, everything happens for a reason. Like, I feel like if I went away to college, my life would be completely different. But I
Probably.
also didn't have that living on my own, having a dorm, really being away. So in some ways, college felt like high school, because I would just get on the subway and go back to my same bedroom. So there wasn't a lot of drinking, and there wasn't a lot of sex. There wasn't a lot of any of that. I was way more responsible in college than I was in high school, to be honest.
That's interesting. Because a big part of it is living not at home. That's a huge part of it, because you're on your own and you're with a bunch of other people. Did you have boyfriends?
Yeah, I had 2 boyfriends for like my entire college career. So like freshman year, I was with one guy, and then sophomore year through senior year, I was with one other guy. That was those are the only people I was having sex with.
I wasn't gonna ask that. But actually, yeah, college is for most people that. College was like the height. I was killing it in college.
I've never killed it.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to kill it now, and it's not happening. I've never killed it. I was just like,
yeah, right. It's because it's quarantine. You can't go on dates.
No, it's not. It's so bad. I do a bit about having not had sex in 10 months. And
wow.
And if you think that's bad, I wrote that joke a year ago. And so I've been saying that joke for 2 years now.
You should say that at the end of the joke. I haven't had sex in 10 months, and I wrote that 2 years ago.
I do. That's the joke. That's the bit.
Wait, what? Wait. Well, are you bad at meeting people online? Because I'm not good at that. Because I'm not good at putting out the message, like sending them the message. I'm not good at that.
I just joined, and I don't think I don't have the attitude for it. So I don't think it's gonna work out for me. So it's likely not gonna work out for me. So I don't know why I'm there.
It takes time. You're gonna get a lot of. It's just there's like with Tinder. I used to like swipe. I used to do the same thing with the one for entertainment people. I swipe, see who I match up with, and then it's just you got to go through a bunch of people. But But it's kind of fun too, because you can think of it like a arcade game. But do you ever reach out to the people? Have you sent any messages? Because that's the hard part, I find.
Sometimes I send messages, but I don't like texting. And so I don't have it in me to be trying to get to know you via, hey, what's up? How are you? What are you doing? Not much. Tell me more about you. That drives me crazy.
Right.
So I don't have that. And so that's literally where it ends. Like, I don't think I've gotten on the phone with anyone. We haven't even gotten to the phone. But then people are weird.
They're supposed to call you after a couple bits of texting.
That's what I think.
Or I think so too.
Yeah,
I always call
I did
after
that
a
with
little
one
bit.
guy. I said, hey, whatever, call me. And then it just fell apart.
Yeah, they need to call like sooner than later, because then you need to see if you have any chemistry that way.
Yeah, don't waste time.
Don't waste time. I can't believe that you haven't been like dating a bunch. I would think you'd be, well, you're busy. You're very busy, I would imagine. So that makes it hard.
And I've never dated a comic, and I feel like that's not a good idea. And so I don't know. And it's different. I think when you're a guy, there's a lot of chuckle fuckers because they're in the audience, and women, there's a lot of women in comedy shows. And then if you are, I think if it might be different for you too, because
I don't meet people after shows.
You don't? Girls don't come up to you?
No, but for some, I mean, every now and then, every very rarely, but like, Ashley Gavin?
Uh-huh.
Her and I were talking about it once. We did a college together, and she was like, oh, girls come up to me after shows. And she was like, and I was like, no, actually girls don't really come up to me after shows. She was like, really? And she was like, oh, I always get like, and I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm kind of like a mess though. Like, it's not like, I'm cute, but it's not, I was like, I could see why you would get more girls after shows. I was like, you seem like cooler. Like there's like a cool, like I was like, I'm more like, bleh! So I can see how that doesn't quite strike the right vibe of, let me message that person. So no, I wouldn't really get hit up after shows.
Really?
No.
See, that's surprising too.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we should be doing great.
We should be.
But I got a girlfriend now. I always am like in a relationship.
You are. So you're doing something right.
I am always in a relationship. I was thinking about that because I just started seeing a therapist too. I started seeing her about a year ago, and that's been like a topic of it. Is this like going to be the first time you've seen a therapist?
Since high school. Since my parents were like, what is wrong with you? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I saw one in high school too. And then the one now she's fine. She's not like rocking my world. I did see one that rocked my world. So I hope you get one that rocks your world.
Me too.
Because when you get a good one, you're like, this was the most profound thing she said that I think is good for comics to hear, or anyone to hear. I don't know if I've ever repeated this, but she said, you shouldn't always try to be happy. You should try to be content. She's like, you always try to be happy. If you always try to be happy, then you're going to be disappointed when you're not happy. And I was like, yeah, that's a good one. Because we're always trying to.
I hate her.
That's
the worst thing. No, I'm just fucking.
Because you're like,
she ruined my life.
Denied. Okay, so when you graduate college and then you started did you start working in fashion, or when did you start going on acting auditions?
Oh, senior year of college, they had like a Halloween party, and I made something. I've always been like customizing my own clothes. And so I did that, and then another girl was like, can you make me something? And I made it for her, and I charged her for it. And then everyone started charging me to make stuff. And so senior year in college, I was making things for people, and my sister was like, you might be onto something here. She was like, wait, how much are they paying you for this? $100. Okay, this needs to be legitimized. And so we got like a vendor's ID. We got like a tax license. We got paperwork. We got a virtual credit card swiper. And we went out on Black Friday in Soho and just took to the street and saw if we could sell our shit. And we sold. And they were like $250 a piece. Because we had like, it was premium. It had like Swarovski crystals on it. And we were like, we made this much money in the street and people didn't know what it was. And we were like, let's try to get in boutiques. Because my sister was like, it's too cold. I'm not sitting out here with you in these streets. So by the time I graduated early, and I came out in
good for you.
Maybe December. So all my friends, which it felt like a good move at the time, but then when I got home, I'm like, all my friends are still going to class.
Right.
Now I'm just
Right.
home. Now I'm just at my mom's house earlier than I was supposed to.
Right. Yeah.
No one talked to me about that.
Right. Yeah. You finish the race early, but then you're like, "Ugh, but everyone else is still running. Like, what am I supposed to do here? There's no one to hang out with. So you guys are selling the stuff, and then did you get in boutiques?
Yeah. So by February, we were in boutiques. So Black
Your
Friday,
sister's
we
a
won in
hustler.
November. She's great. I love her. Together, it's unstoppable.
Is she the more type A one?
No, we both kind of are.
Oh, and my sister's type A. I'm not type A at all.
We have these weird things where we have a lot of similarities, and then we do have skill sets that complement each other, but like personality wise, and there's a lot of things that are similar about our like work ethic and the way that we approach things. And yeah.
But then she doesn't want to be a performer, which is great.
No, she doesn't. She loves being behind.
Yeah, that's key. And then when did you guys stop doing clothing? What made you guys decide to get out of it?
The recession hit, and so people weren't spending. We were in boutiques. We got more orders than we could fulfill. We didn't actually have like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, but the thing about fashion, what they don't tell you is that you need to have all the money for it, and then you don't get it until you drop it off. So if we had like $10,000 in orders, we had to provide $5,000 worth of to make it and to do it, and so shit would be late, and it was just the two of us trying to make things.
Because someone buys it online, so they hit buy, and then once they then you get the money, then you have to make it.
No, we were in boutiques. So what happens is you put together something called a line sheet, which is just like your catalog and the specs of what the clothes looks like, and you'll have a sample. They'll touch it and they'll go, okay, I want 10 pieces of this shirt. I want this, and give it to me in 3 months. And then so in that time, you'll go to the factory, you'll source the materials, you'll make it, and then you sell it and drop it off to the boutique. The boutique in turn sells it to you for twice the amount that they bought it from me for.
Right. And then they send you the money when they
send it once I drop it off to them.
Oh, I see. Oh, I didn't know that. That sucks.
After they place huge orders.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. So you're basically also, that's like a lot of trust too.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean, that they buy it?
That they'll give the money, and they'll not just be like, oh yeah, we got this. Oh wait, we're bankrupt. We're not going to pay you. And you're like, but I just dropped all that shit off.
Oh yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
When was your first date ever? First ever, little Kerry.
My first date.
First date.
What's
Were you about to say what's today?
No, I was gonna say like,
What's
what
today?
you know, probably the
First
first
date
time,
you
like,
consider a first date, like where it's like something where you're like, oh, we're going on a date.
I have no idea. Maybe it was with my first boyfriend. He was great. Like my first real boyfriend, not my first high school boyfriend. My first boyfriend in high school was a dick. He was like high school shit. But like, I think it was like, I just graduated high school. Yeah. And I like hung out with my friend, and she had a guy, and the guy had a friend, and we hit it off, and then we exchanged numbers. I don't remember where we went, but I remember feeling like, oh my God, this guy spent money on me. Like, he was so caring. He was just like a gentleman. And it was like, oh, okay. But
I'm an adult.
Because we hung out the night before, and we would like, you know, when you're young, you meet up with friends, you guys have no plans, and it's just like 6 hours later, it's very late. So we had one of those like long first nights that kind of felt like a date-ish.
Totally, because you made a connection. Yeah, you go, those long nights where you go from one place to the other, and you're like, oh, I didn't get home till 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm. You don't realize you like somebody until like the end, or because you're just being you and they're being them, and then you're like, hey.
Yeah, I like that. Doesn't happen in adulthood because everything's got to be chap. You're like, I gotta be up at this time, so I don't know how much time you're planning on spending together, but something. It just makes it much. That's why fucking people that get married younger. I'm like, I get that. I totally get that. Because now I'm like, I don't know if dating gets any better if you just get like more like ready to be in a relationship. I have no idea.
I don't know. I have to remain hopeful as somebody that's single, and you know, I gotta remain hopeful.
What do you think? What's your ideal partner like?
Wow. I don't.
I don't have anybody to set up with anybody. I got one single friend, and he's not really in an emotional place for relationships. So, but that's
okay. I've never had any friend hook me up with anyone, and I feel like it's for the best because I would like us to maintain friendship.
That's how I feel about myself. I'm like, don't even get it twisted. Like, don't. I was like, because yeah, be good, bad, and then there's gonna be a problem. So you don't want to have to get those two things intertwined because inevitably something, I'm usually only charming for like 6 months. And then the jig is up.
Really?
Yeah. And then I'm like, I gotta just, I get self-involved. Like I'm just focused on work stuff. So I don't,
Are your relationships short relationships? And that's why there's so many of them?
Yeah, 6 months, 6 to 9 months usually.
I've always wondered that. I've never had that. I've always thought it'd be so cute to have like a low stakes, like, oh, it's my boyfriend, but it doesn't mean that I don't feel like you have to love everybody you're with, and everyone doesn't have to be like someone that you can see yourself spending the rest of your life with.
I agree.
Now that I'm older, it's over for that.
I agree. I don't know if I can say that some of the people that I've been with would say that that's what they thought it was. So that's a little bit like in my brain, but I don't necessarily, I always like, so I actually haven't had a bunch of casual ones either. It's just that they're more serious ones that are like shorter.
Got it.
But I'm working on that in therapy too. All right, I have one more question. I googled first date questions. So this was something that someone said to ask someone on a first date. I don't know if this is a good question or not. What's the worst date you've ever been on?
Boy.
Wait, do you usually ask the person on the date?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
I would think
no, I know, but I would think that I would think that I could definitely see you asking someone on a date, but I would think that the person would ask you on a date. Oh, I could definitely see you asking someone on a date. I could see you being like, we should go on a date.
Yeah, maybe. I'm telling you, when you get older, you have less time for the bullshit, and you're just like, listen, if I like someone, problem is it takes a lot to move me, so I rarely like anyone. The worst date I've been on?
Never had a bad one.
You have to be careful with women, because it's like, oh, is it the time when the guy when he pinned me up on the wall? Like, which part? No.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, they're like, how bad do you want to get?
Like, date rape is a whole term. It can get real
true.
bad on the scale of.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
No, I haven't had those. So, okay, I think this one is pretty bad. I went on a date with this Jamaican guy, which, I mean, you were in the Caribbean culture club.
I don't know if it was all women's college. I think we had 2 girls from Jamaica, and they were lovely.
No. I mean, I love Jamaican men. But you got to have the right amount. Anyway, this guy was like, I don't know why I wanted to date with this guy.
There's a comedian who talks about, he passed away, but he has a really funny joke about Jamaican men like working at, his name's Rashid. Did you ever see him? The set on Bad Boys of Comedy. It's really funny, but he has a joke about how Jamaican guys will like flip, like when you call them, they'll say like good night, hello, or hello, good night, or something where they like flip it. Yeah. So, I mean, there's some of my favorite people. They're just so crazy and so expressive and colorful, and it's never a dull moment, which you can't generalize, but in my experience, right, broad strokes,
friends, it's always and we went on a date, and I was a dancer at this time, and I love dancing. So whenever I went out to like a reggae club, I'm going to dance. Right. And so there's always like 2 factions in these clubs. They're the girls that are wearing the highest heels, the tightest outfit. It's all about the fashion, the glamour. It's a whole thing. And then there's a few women that have come to dance. They'll be wearing flats, whatever. Right. So I looked very cute, but I had on my combat boots. I looked trendy, and he was just like, you could tell he was just so upset at the audacity of me to wear boots.
Really?
A flat boots on a date with him. So we go to this like hole in the wall lounge in the back of Brooklyn, and the music is okay, and I'm dancing. I was like, I don't care. I'm here to have a good time.
Was he dancing?
I don't even remember. Usually when I'm on the dance floor, I don't know where you are, sir, but I'm here to have a good time. I'm not dancing on top of you. I'm in my own world. There's choreography. I'm just like dancing like nobody's looking. I'm in my moment. And I think like a fight broke out, or there might have been like shots fired or something.
You're still dancing.
And so we had to leave. And then when we got in the car, he was upset, right? And then he was just like, I'm like, what is wrong with you? And he was just like, I can't believe you came behind me with those boots on. And I was like, you took me to some place where someone could have gotten shot. Clearly it was the right choice.
Yeah, I needed to run.
Like, what are we talking about? It was the most absurd, wild moment. And then he did this crazy thing where he tried to like trick me to go to his house. And he was like, I have to use the bathroom. And he locked the door in the car. And I was like, you can use the bathroom wherever you want, but I'm not getting out. And it was like a weird thing, and that was just awful.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling. That's not good thing you wore those fucking boots. You're like, I had to get out of here.
I was like, good thing I needed to run, you fool. Shout out to me for having foresight.
Yeah, right. I could see how that could be intimidating for someone going on a date if the person's dancing and like real. I've actually been on where someone's into that, and I wasn't, and that was intimidating. Intimidating. If the girl's like really into their dancing and they're really, really, really good at it, being like the partner to that can be a little hard.
I mean, in hindsight, I can definitely see that. And I also understand that you asked me what my ideal guy is, someone that can handle the fact that I'm liable to be that girl.
And because you can make it work. You can you can make it can work too. So you have to be very secure in being like, I'm not going to match this. I'm not going to try. And also just let them do their own thing. You definitely have to be secure with that. Otherwise you're like, you look like a fucking idiot.
All of my favorite boyfriends have been supportive. They've been holding, they've been coming with napkins to like, and go back out there and be like, you can't let that girl out dance you. Finish her. It's a battle. Like, that's the guy I need in my life.
Where can people find you online?
You can find me at Overfab. So it's short for Overly Fabulous.
Overly Fabulous. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I'm going to hit stop.